I'm inside and I saw Star Trek the original series, Obsession. It is directed by Rolf Sineski, written by Art Wallace, and if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. This episode starts and we're following the USS Enterprise, and there's a couple of people in a landing party, and they go down to the planet's surface, and there's this gaseous thing that just consumes people's body and takes all of the red blood cells and just eats it, and then just gets rid of the person, just boop, no longer I don't care about you, just leaves them there, and they're just dead, and there are no signs of red blood cells in their body. They're like completely gray. What's interesting is there's this guy. He's part of the landing party. There's like 2 people who are taken of their red blood cells from this gas, and this guy saw it, and he was being warned by Kirk because he also went through this experience, and Kirk's like, yo, I've experienced this like 11 years ago, okay? If you see the thing, shoot it. And frickin', he didn't shoot it. He didn't shoot the gas. And he's consumed by all of this guilt that he feels, and Kirk also feels the same amount of guilt too. He's like, we gotta find out the cause of this. We can't just let this cloud consume more red blood cells from everyone who has red blood cells, okay? Oh, it's interesting. Kirk is feeling this guilt and is so inclined to stay here and try to fight the thing, right? But McCoy is like, I don't think he should, like, put more people on the surface. I don't think you should do that, Kirk. And Kirk's like, we gotta, but, you know, I understand having to travel to where we're going. And then while they're traveling, there's this big spacious cloud in space. Spacious, get it? Spacious. Anyway, so there's this cloud, same cloud. And Kirk's like, turn off all the ventilation. Except for this one guy, the guy who is there consumed by all guilt. He turns on the ventilation by accident. And then when the cloud comes over the Enterprise, that cloud gets into the ventilation system. And Spock's down there to be like, you shouldn't be consumed by all this guilt because there's no way that one single phaser would destroy the cloud, okay? And also McCoy tells the same fact to Kirk, and only with this fact is Kirk able to be like, okay, fine, I'm no longer guilty that I couldn't save those fellows. I hesitated in the moment, but I'm glad to know that even if I shot a phaser at that cloud, it would have done nothing. And so what's interesting, Kirk goes down to this guy's quarters to do it, and it's right around the same time where the gas comes and like starts flooding the guy's room, and Spock's down there. What's interesting, Spock has no red blood cells because his blood is green, and he's not affected by this at all. He's able to take the ventilation system and just close it. He's able to close it. I'm like, man, even a photon phaser from the actual ship itself couldn't destroy this thing. What can destroy this thing, man? I'm just thinking, this thing looks like it's unstoppable, just random cloud. Just so happens it smells like honey, so you're not at all suspect to its appearance. You just like, it smells like honey. And only Kirk knew what this would mean to his landing party. He's the only person who has went through the situation and survived. So he has like ultimate all-knowing sight on this. The only thing that can stop this cloud is you have to take an antimatter bomb down to the surface, and only Kirk and the guy can go down there. And they lure the gas in. And right as they lure the gas in, they get transported up, they activate the bomb explodes, and destroys the thing. And I'm like, Kirk, I like you a lot. I'm glad that you're not consumed by your guilt anymore, and I'm glad that this guy is not consumed by his guilt anymore. So the ultimate lesson of this episode is that you don't have to feel guilty about things that are out of your control. You know, Kirk felt guilty, this guy felt guilty, but in actuality, there was nothing that they could have done to stop it with their puny phasers. They had to bring in an antimatter bomb in order to stop this guy. You know, I like this episode a lot because it goes to show Kirk's character, and it goes to show the character of everybody else on board. I imagine you have to be like the utmost respectable person in order to be on the Enterprise at all. Otherwise, you're just kind of an issue and you need to get kicked off. So I like how this guy feels guilty even if he couldn't do anything about it. You know, I just feel like that's a good characteristic to have. But too much guilt is very, very damaging, you know, to your psyche, to your environment. It causes a lot of mistakes to happen. Overall, this is a nice episode. It establishes the importance of guilt, but don't be guilty if there's nothing that you can do to change the situation. Even if you are projecting that you could have done something to change the situation. I feel bad for Kirk though. He had 11 years and not knowing that he had no control in the situation at all. He just thought that he could have controlled those people dying. And I'm glad he knows that now, that he didn't have any control. A weight has been lifted off his shoulder. This is a nice, I'd say pretty simple Star Trek episode compared to like how complex the other Star Trek episodes get. But this is a good Star Trek episode. It teaches a lesson. I gotta give this episode, it's a solid like 7.9 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. The platform really likes that. If you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 redeemos at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you like to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree, find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So go here. And until next time, mint salad saw, I'll see you later, my salad croutons and bacon bits. Beam me up.